Welcome back to Chris's Moto Life. I'm back to being in front of the camera because I've actually got somebody to film. Thank you so much, Steve. Okay, last time we visited, the garage had the Lotus in it. I had a Lotus Europa. That sold on Bring a Trailer. Did really well on that. Thank you, Bring a Trailer. So, look what I've got. I've got the red one back in here. This has been, I've just taken care of the paint. I did a paint correction on this. It's all it needed. I think we talked about the Dunlop Di-Resas that I put on it. There's nothing really wrong with this car. It's my cars and coffee car now, and I really enjoy driving it. It's been going great. Everything, knock on wood, has been perfect. Now we've got old Brownie here, this 911E. This one's been a real pain. I mean, this one sat for about 10 years. What I had to do to get it running is I had to replumb the entire fuel system. And these carburetors, I put a lot of parts into them, and then I wasn't happy with how they looked. And then in the meantime, I had bought an ultrasonic cleaner. So I threw these into the ultrasonic, put them back together. We're now in the process of tuning them. If anybody tells you that Weber carburetors are easy to tune, ignore them. Another thing I'd like to point out, if we can get in here with the camera, I like to use these red Purelator filters. My mechanic swears by them. I've heard people say a couple different things about them, that some people swear by the Melees. Well, I swear by the Purelator because it is the original Porsche oil filter. So I use it in my car, I use it in the old ones. They're a little more expensive. I think they're well worth the money. Okay, let's move on in the garage and see what we've got going on here. Here it is, my Honda CB400F. For you folks who have been following along, you know that I had to do a lot of work to this, that it was incredibly filthy when I bought it. At this point, new chain and sprocket, new tires, cleaned up the chrome, put on some small turn signals because it came without turn signals. Carbs have been rebuilt. They do not leak. I've actually got gas in them. I put the air box back on, which is a complete pain. You're going to notice a lot of guys run those pod air filters on old bikes. I'm convinced it's because it's how hard it is to get the air box back in. Got the engine put back together. We've got all the paint taken off. I would rather spend my time polishing this aluminum than have ratty looking paint on it. Moving up front, as we discussed last time, the front brakes are completely rebuilt. All new brake lines. We put a new front fender on it. That was a pain. One thing I'd like to warn you about, if you're going to buy repops, or as the British say, pattern parts, they're finicky to fit. They're very finicky. This took me about an hour or two, at least an hour or two, of just messing around with it. If we look up to my ceiling, you can see that I have two hooks. What I do is I take ratchet straps, put them down, put them on the handlebars, and that'll hold the front end up, and that's how I take my front tire off. A lot of people think it's really dangerous. A friend of mine said that. I do it with my Ducati. I've been doing it for years. It's a great idea if you've got a garage. That way, the bike is hanging. You're not going to hurt anything. All right. This is brand new. This set of controls. So I thought I'd get away with just get the left side controls, but I went to do the front side of the controls, and we had a little trouble. The starter button was jammed in, and all the plastic from inside of it was completely deteriorated, and it just all fell apart. So, God bless the internet. I just bought a new one. This is a repop as well, but it's got the identical wires for the wiring harness. And I'm saying, I'll tell you what, this is a good time to say it. I don't do restorations, so I don't need exact Honda or anything. So I could either mess around with this original one for hours and be frustrated, or I could pay $50 and just bolt the new one on. Okay, what else do we have going on here? Here's the pipe in the rear. this pipe, it was one of those things that was really weird. I came out last night, I started cleaning the bike up. I had nothing better to do. It was a Friday night. I'm not drinking for 90 days, so I have a lot of energy, and God knows I'm not at happy hour doing that. See my bright eyes from not drinking? I'm kidding around. So anyway, I'm out here last night, and I'm looking at the pipe, and I'm like, I'm going to hold it on there and see how it will fit. Well, damn if it didn't just completely fit perfectly. There's a little strap underneath the pipe, and I had to drill into it, and literally, it lined up. It literally lined up, and when I bought it, I paid $50 for this. It's not even the original Honda one. It's not even sold for a Honda. The guy said you may have to modify the band holding it on. I drilled a hole through the band. I had this mounted in all of 10 minutes. So I was very, very happy about that. Sometimes things work for you, sometimes they don't. I've got the rear brake all hooked up. And I was always wondering what this hook was for. Because you'll see this on these old Hondas. You know what it's for? So your toe doesn't get caught behind this. Because see how it comes out on this? All it does is it keeps your foot from getting caught in there. I thought that was a pretty funny thing. So basically, I think you're all caught up with what we have going on here. I'm really glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that my buddy Steve stopped by and he was able to film for us. I think we've got a good year coming up. I don't want to go back into a cubicle, so I've got to finish this motorcycle. I should have this one finished and probably within the week. We'll put this up for sale and then we'll start on a whole new project. So I think I really enjoy the time that we spend together, guys, and as I always end it, I want you all to stay positive and I want you all to have the most awesome week ever coming up because life is fun. Take care.